Okay, my friend, a shocker du jour. Going to be a couple of weeks probably before we find out the results. But what I'm going to do is test some of these near humans to see if they have our human DNA in them and where they actually came from. I've got a bunch of these DNA tests, and I am going to drill deep inside where there's an artery and see if I can extract anything that has DNA. If it doesn't have it, it doesn't have it. It'll just come back, it didn't work. Now, this is a terrestrial fingertip. It's flat as a pancake because it was in the flood and everything gets flat. This side is where the blood was, the red blood. Red blood, red blood, red blood. And it blew out this side or leaked out. These are the vein spots. And there's one in the end here too. They don't blow out, but the red blood does. Now, this is a meteorite. And this is another big, I say it's a human fingertip. And this came through space and cooked and burnt off everything. Like even, you see that round spot? They have a perfectly round and around where the tendons lock in. It's incredible how amazingly perfect these things are constructed. Now, this is the fingertip, and look at the exact same thing. You see right there? That is the vein. That's the vein. That's the vein. That's the vein. You see that hook? You see the hook right there? And that one right there? Same hook. You see it? You see the veins and the arteries over here. This one just leaked out, got squished out and squirted out because it got squished. It pushed the blood out of those little holes. Because that's where they are. This one had the same holes, but instead of being squished out, when it came through space, it burnt up and got real hot. You see how it blackened up, all black? Blood was still wet in here, and it exploded from the pressure of the gases expanding when it and it exploded this whole side off. Now, this, I say, is another human-ish or a human fingertip. And this, I can guarantee you that's human. There's just no way you can miss this. Now, I'm going to do a DNA test on this, a DNA test on that, and see if they're the same or different. I'm going to do a DNA test on this, which is a no-toe, and see what happens here. I'm going to do a DNA test on this, which is a giant fingertip. That's where the apical tuft is, and this is saturated with blood. I got more blood than I can get a transfusion out of that thing. It's saturated with blood. And what I'm going to do is, I got a drill press. I'm going to put a masonry drills. And the first one I'm going to drill is I'm just going to take the drill press and right down in a real good red spot. And go in 1/4 of an inch, that type of thing. Just enough to go deep enough where you don't have anything from the surface there. I got a compressor. I blow it all out, and then I'll take a smaller one. So the big one goes first, the smaller one goes next, inside that first cut. And that's the cut that I use. I'll put a little bit of the solution in there and wipe that swab in there with that solution and put it into the vial. And we'll call these, we'll give them a name. And we'll see if they come back with human. If it's not human, I don't think they'll give us any result at all. If it is human, what kind of human? Where'd it come from? Is there some common origin to these? Because these are all pre-flood. Well, these are pre-flood. All this was pre-flood. This came through space. And I would say this was probably, well, I don't know. I don't want to make any guesses because I have no idea. It came through space. I can tell you that. It cooked up and burnt off and exploded this side right off. And we'll same thing with the drill press. I can get it, I lock it in, right down inside. I might go right deep into the center of this one, because this one cooked. These didn't cook. This didn't cook. It shouldn't have damaged the DNA from heat. This one will be damaged from heat. But if I can get deep enough in there, I might be able to get to something that wasn't damaged. This didn't come through space. That was Great Flood, product of the Great Flood, a no-toe. And so is this one. That's big fingertip. And I have other ones too that have already been DNA tested, CAT scan, all that stuff. So I don't want to put a whole batch of money into this, but I got like a dozen DNA test kits, and we'll see what we come up with. Who knows? If it's here, it's here. If it isn't, it isn't. But I'd love to be able to test stuff for any kind of creature DNA. Like I'd like to see what Caesar comes out. Caesar'd like to get his DNA done. I think he's a goose, but I'm not sure of that feather pattern. But he's got an artery right there. And that thing kicked catalase, the catalase reaction was unbelievable out there. So I'm sure there's, well, I don't know. This is all got to be tested, that's all. So we're going to start with the test, and I will do this with gloves and a mask and all the procedures, and I'll be blowing things out with a compressor, which is be clean air. There won't be nothing's going to be scrubbed or rubbed or touched. And I'll show, and I'm actually going to do the video of when I'm doing the drilling and when I'm blowing out with the compressor, and show you how I'm going to do it. I may just do it on one, or maybe I'll do it on all of it. It doesn't matter. It's going to be clean, and it's going to be well done. Whether we'll get a result or not, I don't know. That is TBD, to be determined. Alright, this is what's inside that big fingertip that I believe came through space. And this is where the blood just boiled out. And I'm going to turn the lights up just a smidge. Alright, and then we're going to put some water on here and see if we can rehydrate this. Alright, so get ready. Alright, I'll let you watch this thing actually happening. I'm spraying the water on right now. Look at it turn red. I mean, it's insane how quickly this stuff turns red. Red blood rehydrates instantly. Now this came, like I say, I think this came through space. Now let's see if it just, and it does. I can tell it's going to melt right off of there. I'm going to scratch it up a little bit. You got to get underneath the surface, and now it's starting to flow. Look at it flow. Once you get under the surface, watch this. Look at that piece come out of there. It's just raw blood down there. See that? Raw blood. So I'm going to start off on this one. I can see I should have no problem if it's not degraded because of the heat. This is the one that came through space. So I'll drill and do the same thing. Drill again. Take it as far deep in as I can get, and off it goes. That really is amazing. Look at that. It's just raw blood. As soon as the water hits it and it sits around in there, red blood just rehydrates very fast. I have another meteorite here. You know what? I'm going to show you another one I'm going to do too, because that one's going to be real simple. I just have to get down below the surface a little bit. Alright, so this is what I was just showing you in the microscope, and that was where the red blood was coming out of here. Right there. And this one had the same thing. It has raw red blood in there. I should be able to do it. And this is a terrestrial one, and this is a space one. And they're the same. I mean, they're so identical, it's unbelievable. Even look at this gnarly spot. You see that gnarly spot over there? And here's where the blood is, here and here, which is here and here. And it's got it on the end. And this one has it on the end over here, but it didn't blow out. And there's the vein and artery. I mean, the veins on this side. It's a carbon copy. This, I got to find a good spot to get some blood out of here. I've been looking, it's a little tricky. This one's just gushing blood everywhere. There's red blood coming out there everywhere. I can't miss with this one. And then I got another one I was just thinking about. This one here. This one here is another meteorite. And it cooked up coming through space, burnt itself down to all the fleshy stuff. And these are the anchor balls for the tendons, and they burnt up all the gooey stuff, and you can see this is tough stuff. Now, there was another strap here. They come down in straps. All right, can you see that? Yes, you can. All right, just to show you, it comes down with the vein and artery. There's the vein. There's the artery right there. You see those? That's where the blood supply comes in. Now you've got tendon straps coming down here. I'm not sure what it was, but it's got really heavy-duty tendons. That is a heavy-duty, gnarly tendon strap, tendon strap, tendon strap, tendon strap. And now there was another one came over here, and right down there, right below this spot here, it sunk in, and it would have been one of these tendons. And it's inside, so it didn't. We're not seeing that gnarly look, but there's a strap that came down and hooked down in here, and right under there, where you see that black stuff, is where the tendon ball is underneath. Now, you see this? That is absolutely red blood. You see that? As soon as I put water on there, it just turns into blood. You see, it's just red blood. Now, I don't see any reason I shouldn't be able to get good red blood off of that, even though I've been touching it and everything. I should be able to just scrape this down good and drill in there 1/4 of an inch or something and get plenty of blood out of there. Or I could just smack off some more of this but there's blood all over this thing. I mean, I can't get blood out of that. Of course I can get blood out of that. I don't know whether I'll do this one or not, but maybe I should drill down into one of these tendons and get way down inside to where the anchor is, because that's got plenty of blood too. Anyway, I got so many things I could test. But I got a dozen tests coming, So it's off to the races, my friends. We're going to be finding out whatever we can find out. You know, remember I always talk about moss. Loves red blood. If there's some red blood, there's going to be some moss. You see that? It just looks like a piece of sandstone. Look, I say, oh, Roger, that's just a piece of sandstone. I say, yes, it is. Now, it used to be a toe. And that's where the vein and artery was, right there. You see that? It's still got moss coming. It will grow there. I don't do anything to it. It just grows. There's still artery and vein blood in there. This is the green one, and that's the vein side. This is the artery side. I don't do anything to this. It's been sitting around. And if you look at it just right, you can actually see, I think, some of the fingerprints that were, the toe prints that were on here, down here. You got to get it just in the right shadow. You see them up here? I don't know if you can see that, probably not. This was a big toe, and that was the callus side. That was where the callus was. This side here bumped up against the next toe. You know how you have like the edge that rises up over, it's a scruffy looking skin. And that was the bottom of the toe. And this right here is the apical tuft. You see that little dot right there? And you see this dot at the end? That's the apical tuft. That's just right here. That right there still has a ball on it. And that has the ball on the end. This one, the ball's missing here, but the ball is on the end. Lots to look at, my friends. Another day in Mudfossil land. So we'll have to find out what we find out. I'll be doing some more videos on, as I drill into these things, I'll try to show what I am doing so that I legitimize this process. Because all I heard from that, oh, you must have contaminated, you did this, you don't know what you're doing. Well, maybe, maybe not. See what you think after I show you what I do. All right. Thank you, my good friends, and stay tuned.